You didn't stumble upon this video by accident. If a narcissist has already humiliated you in front of everyone, made you doubt your own sanity, manipulated you until you felt like garbage, and then got away with it scot-free, smiling as if nothing happened. But today that changes. Today you'll discover 5 of the most ruthless tactics to psychologically destroy a narcissist and get revenge in a surgical way. What you're about to learn isn't advice from self-help books. These are devastating strategies based on research by the famous psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud, who spent decades studying the narcissistic mind. Each tactic has been designed to strike exactly where the narcissist fears most, their inflated ego and desperate need for control. The 5th tactic is so brutal, it can cause complete narcissistic collapse. So effective that it's rarely discussed in conventional therapies. When you apply this final strategy, the narcissist won't just lose control over you, they'll lose control over themselves. If you're tired of being a victim, if you want to turn the game around and watch this manipulator fall apart from the inside, keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you'll have in your hands the power to destroy any narcissist who stands in your way. Before I reveal the tactics, you must understand a fundamental truth about narcissists. They are psychologically addicted to your emotional reaction. Without it, they literally start dying inside. Every narcissist builds their identity on a gigantic lie. They must constantly prove to themselves that they're better, special, irresistible. And to maintain this illusion, they need victims who will confirm this fantasy through suffering. When you cry, they feel powerful. When you defend yourself, they feel important. When you beg for respect, they feel superior. Your emotional pain is the fuel that feeds their sick ego. Sigmund Freud discovered that the pathological narcissist lives in a constant state of inner fragility. Behind that mask of superiority hides a terrified child, desperately seeking attention and validation. It's precisely this fragility that we'll ruthlessly exploit. The first tactic I'll reveal attacks this weak point directly. It's called complete emotional erasure, and when properly executed, it causes a short circuit in the narcissistic mind that can last for weeks. Before I continue, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I want to know how far this life-changing information reaches, but prepare yourself, because what's coming contradicts everything you've learned about forgiveness and being a better person. The time has come to play by their rules. This first tactic is a weapon of psychological mass destruction. It works like this. You simply stop existing emotionally for the narcissist. This isn't ignoring, it's much more devastating. Imagine the narcissist sends you a message calculated to hurt you. Before, you would have responded with anger, sadness, or despair. Now, you respond as if it were a robot sending spam. Okay, or I understand, and that's it. Nothing more. They try to provoke jealousy by talking about other people. You respond, good for them. They make a dramatic public scene. You continue your conversation as if nothing happened. They threaten you with something terrible. You yawn and change the subject. What happens in their mind is devastating. The narcissist is programmed to extract emotions from you. When this doesn't happen, it's like their world is collapsing. They start questioning their own power, their own significance. The initial reaction will be panic in disguise. They'll intensify provocations, try more extreme tactics, do everything to trigger an emotional reaction from you again. But if you maintain emotional erasure, something cruel happens. They start feeling invisible. For someone whose existence depends on being the center of attention, on having emotional impact on others, feeling invisible is worse than death. It's like you've erased them from your reality. The secret lies in consistency. It can't be 90% of the time. It must be 100%. One emotional reaction, and they'll interpret it as a sign that they still have power over you. But warning, this tactic is just a warm-up. The second strategy I'll reveal goes even deeper into the narcissistic psyche, attacking something they consider sacred. Narcissists are masters at controlling the narrative. They rewrite history, distort facts, play victims when they're aggressors. This is how they maintain control over you and how others perceive them. Tactic 2 brutally destroys this ability. You simply stop defending yourself and start telling your version of the facts with disturbing calm. When they spread lies about you, instead of running around defending yourself, You calmly tell what really happened. But here's the trick. You speak as if you're reading the weather forecast, without emotions, without anger, just facts. Interesting that Paul says that. Actually, what happened was this, X, Y, and Z. But everyone has their perspective, right? And you smile slightly, as if you're talking about the price of bread. This absolute calm in the face of their lies has a devastating psychological impact, because the narcissist expects you to break down, scream, cry, trying to prove your innocence. When you don't do this, when you simply present facts with composure, two things happen. First, people start wondering why he is so agitated while you are so calm. Second, and more importantly, the narcissist realizes they've lost control of the narrative. The secret is to never attack directly, never curse, never go into emotions. You simply present reality so calmly that their hysterical version looks exactly like what it is, the fantasy of a disturbed mind. But warning, when you apply this tactic, prepare for escalating aggressiveness. The narcissist will desperately try to regain control of the narrative. And here we enter the third tactic, which is even more cruel. This tactic is based on Sigmund Freud's disturbing discovery. Narcissists have a terror of revealing who they really are. They build elaborate social masks to hide their true nature. Tactic 3 tears off this mask in a surgical way. It works like this. You start reflecting back to the narcissist exactly what they do, but in a subtle and calculated way. This isn't crude imitation, it's refined psychological mirroring. They constantly interrupt you. Next time they're speaking, you gently interrupt them and say, "Sorry, I was thinking about something else. Can you repeat that?" With a sweet smile. They're always late to disrespect you. You also start being late, but always with a credible excuse and polite apology. They cancel meetings at the last minute. You do the same, always with justifications they can't question. What makes this devastating is that you use their own weapons against them, but maintain an impeccable attitude. They can't complain, because that would mean admitting they do these things themselves. The deadly mirror works because it forces the narcissist to see their own toxic behavior, and for a mind that refuses to accept any responsibility, this causes unbearable cognitive dissonance. The typical reaction is an explosion of irrational anger. They'll accuse you of acting strange or being vindictive, but you simply respond with complete innocence. "I don't understand. I'm just doing what I always see you do." This response is like a punch to the stomach for the narcissistic ego, because it reveals their hypocrisy in a way they can't deny. But if you think this is devastating, wait until you learn the fourth tactic. This is one of the most perverse and effective tactics. You'll validate the narcissist in a way that destroys them from within, using their own arrogance as a weapon against themselves. It works like this. When the narcissist brags about something, instead of ignoring or confronting, you agree in an exaggerated way and add an innocent observation that reveals the pathology behind the attitude. For example, they say, "I'm the best at what I do. I've always been better than others." Your response, "That's true, you really must feel like you're the best at everything, right? That must be exhausting, carrying that burden of constantly having to prove you're better. I admire how you manage to maintain that energy." Or, when they treat someone badly and brag, "I showed who's boss here." Your response, "Wow, you really need everyone to know you have power. That must be hard, constantly feeling threatened by others. It's understandable that you have to defend yourself so much." What you're doing is genius. You validate the action but reveal the sick need behind it. You agree with them, but in a way that exposes the emotional fragility motivating narcissistic behavior. The psychological impact is devastating because the narcissist can't complain. You're being understanding and empathetic, but at the same time, every word you say is a blow to the grandiose image they have of themselves. Deadly false validation works because it forces the narcissist to confront something they never want to admit, that all their arrogant behavior stems from deep and pathological insecurity. You don't attack directly, you're being nice, explaining why they act in such a desperate way for validation, and this destroys them more than any insult ever could. But now we come to the fifth and final tactic, the most brutal of all. The fifth tactic is a nuclear weapon against narcissists. It's so devastating it can cause what Sigmund Freud called narcissistic collapse, a state where the narcissist's entire psychological structure falls apart. Complete strategic abandonment isn't simply leaving the narcissist's life. It's leaving in a way that communicates a specific and devastating message. You're not important enough to justify my presence. It works like this. You don't make drama. You don't give explanations. You don't seek closure. You simply disappear. But not like a victim running away, like someone who found something much better to do with their time. You continue living normally, but as if the narcissist never existed. You don't angrily block on social media. That would give them significance. You simply stop following and never interact again. If people ask about them, you respond with authentic indifference. Who? Oh yes. I don't think about that anymore. And immediately change the subject, as if it were literally irrelevant. What makes this devastating is the attack on the narcissist's greatest fear, being irrelevant. For someone whose existence depends on being important in others' lives, discovering that you simply moved on without looking back is a deadly blow to the ego. The narcissist will try everything to regain your attention. They'll create dramas, spread lies, try to provoke you through third parties. But if you maintain complete strategic abandonment, something devastating happens. They realize they've truly lost all power over you. And for the narcissistic mind, loss of power is loss of identity. It's complete collapse of the grandiose fantasy. But there's a secret to applying this tactic without destroying yourself in the process. When you properly apply these 5 tactics, you'll witness something rare and disturbing: narcissistic collapse. Sigmund Freud documented this phenomenon as a temporary disintegration of narcissistic personality when their defenses fail. The signs are unmistakable. First, you'll notice desperate escalation of manipulative behaviors. The narcissist will try increasingly extreme tactics to regain control over you. More elaborate lies, intense dramas, serious threats. Then comes the phase of obsessive stalking. They may start following you on social media, showing up at places you visit, trying to contact you through third parties. This isn't love, it's pure desperation. Their ego is falling apart. Next, you'll see something that rarely happens. The narcissist will try to present themselves as a victim of themselves. They'll start talking about how they're confused, how you've changed, how they don't understand what went wrong. It's a desperate attempt to regain sympathy and control. The most dangerous stage is when they realize they've truly lost power over you. Some narcissists fall into a state of extreme narcissistic rage. They may try to destroy your reputation, your relationships, even your career. It's the last card of someone losing the game, but the final stage is most revealing. Complete disintegration of the social mask. The narcissist stops pretending to be a good person and shows their true nature to everyone. Cruel irony. Trying to destroy you, they reveal themselves for what they really are. It's important you understand you're not responsible for their collapse. You simply stopped feeding the sick dynamic. What happens next is a consequence of their choices and pathology, not yours. But there's a crucial aspect you must know to protect yourself during this process. Applying these tactics isn't a game. It's psychological warfare, and you must protect your own mind in this process. Because destroying a narcissist can be addictive, and there's a risk you'll become what you're fighting against. The first protection is maintaining clarity about your goals. You're not doing this for sadistic pleasure. You're defending yourself against an emotional predator. Always remember, the goal is your freedom, not their destruction. Second protection, document everything. Narcissists in collapse can become dangerous. Keep evidence of threats, stalking behaviors, attempts at defamation. You may need this evidence. Third protection, have a support network that understands the situation. People who've never dealt with narcissists may not understand why you're being so cruel. You need allies who understand this is self-defense. Fourth protection, maintain emotional distance from the outcome. If you start feeling pleasure from their suffering, stop immediately. This means you're also becoming toxic. Fifth protection, have an exit plan. When the narcissist is completely out of your life, you must know how to return to being a normal person. Living in psychological warfare mode can't be permanent. The most important protection is remembering these tactics are temporary. They serve to get rid of a predator, not to become one. Once you're free, you must return to being empathetic, kind, human, because ultimately, The greatest revenge on a narcissist isn't their destruction. It's being happy without them. And this leads me to the most important final reflection. We've reached the end of this psychological revenge journey, but I must tell you something that contradicts everything you expected to hear. The most devastating revenge you can apply to a narcissist isn't any of the tactics I taught. The ultimate revenge is simply being happy. Sounds anticlimactic? Let me explain why this is more destructive than any psychological strategy. Narcissists feed on drama, chaos, intense emotions. When you become truly happy, fulfilled, peaceful, you completely remove their power over your life. Imagine the narcissist discovering that you're prospering, loving, growing, while they're still trapped in the same toxic patterns, that you overcame the trauma they caused and became a better version of yourself. This destroys them more than any tactic ever could. The 5 tactics you learned today are survival tools. Use them to get rid of the narcissist, to protect your sanity, to regain your power. But don't let them become your identity. Sigmund Freud always emphasized that healing from narcissistic trauma comes through rebuilding healthy relationships and developing authentic self-esteem. Tactics free you from the predator. Therapy and self-care restore your life. If you applied these strategies and managed to break free, leave in the comments, "I reclaimed my life." Your experience can inspire someone who's still trapped in a narcissist's web. Remember, you weren't born to be anyone's victim. You have the right to happiness, respect, true love. And any person who tries to take that from you doesn't deserve a place in your existence. The narcissist wanted to break you, diminish you, use you as a source of emotional nourishment. But you discovered something they'll never have: the ability to be truly human, to feel real empathy, to build authentic connections. In the end, while they're still imprisoned in the prison of their own sick ego, you're free to be who you really are. And that, my friend, is the sweetest revenge that exists. If this content changed your perspective on dealing with narcissists, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who needs this information. Because knowledge is power, and power is freedom. And always remember, the best life is one lived without the presence of those who don't deserve you.